Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel for another post-heart surgery photo walk. Actually, what today I've got planned isn't even a photo walk. It's just an endurance walk with my gear. Again, just trying to build up that endurance and get myself back into shape so I can get back to climbing the sand dunes and climbing the hills and getting into weird, awkward positions. This nature preserve that I'm at has a pretty easy trail. Been here once before. I was here late winter. Wasn't quite spring, there was still snow on the ground, late winter, and I found it to be fairly unremarkable. So, but now back here at the height of summer, June 6th, and it looks like an entirely different location. I mean, I recognize the geography, but it's an entirely different scene altogether. So we might be able to pull something out, but boy howdy, this is a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. But anyway, yeah, this is the first video I've made that does not include a planned photograph. So I've had to come up with a topic to discuss. And that topic to discuss was Ansel Adams would have been a lousy YouTuber. Oh, and that's not really a topic of discussion, it's just an inflammatory statement. But yeah, Ansel Adams would have been a terrible YouTuber because he didn't take enough pictures. Ansel Adams did not take enough photos to satisfy the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube photographers, they're out every week in search of those banger photographs to be able to share with y'all. But Ansel Adams' philosophy was that he was after one photograph a month. He took more than one photograph a month or created more than one photograph a month, but when he was asked, how many great photographs one should create, his answer was 12 in a year. That comes down to about one a month. One good portfolio image per month. But social media, specifically YouTube and Instagram, would have you believing that you need to create banger images constantly and churn them out constantly. Now I know that some of you might come back and say, well, Ansel Adams was shooting large format photography, and he was shooting one sheet of film at a time. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter if he went afield with 2 or 3 film holders, or if he went afield with a digital camera. He went to the same number of locations. He found the same number of compositions. The only thing that the digital age has brought us is the speed and ease of our workflow. If anything, it has made us haphazard and reckless with our photography. Because it's nothing for us to go out with our digital cameras and bang out 200-300 photographs in a session and hope that 1 or 2 of them is worth a damn. We need to get out of that mindset. Slow down with our photography. Yeah, sure, we can just keep hitting that shutter button and run the odometer on our cameras. All you're doing is just running the odometer on your camera. You don't need to take 50 shots of the same scene if you're photographing with intent. If you find your composition and you fine tune it and you take a shot, obviously you're going to want to take more than one. You're going to want to take shots with different depths of field, tweak and fine tune the composition, tweak your shutter speed, etc. But you don't need to bang out 50 different exposures of the same damn thing. You're not a 15-year-old girl in the bathroom with your cell phone. You don't need to do that. There's another thing that you don't need to do. You don't need to go into the woods and leave your fucking garbage around. You bring it to the woods, take it out of the woods. That pisses me off. Okay. I think I might have found a composition, or at least a potential composition that a year ago I would have 100% absolutely dropped my gear and explored it. But right now I'm not I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I can physically. I'm sure I can. It's just, I think it's probably going to hurt to do it. And it's this right here. No, not this whole scene. That right there. Because, this is all kind of boring and just cluttered. But this right here, that rock and that moss and, the roots of the tree, just that tiny little spot right there reminds me of, well, it looks like the diorama of a more interesting woodland. Because not all woodlands are made equal. Some woodlands are just fantastic and have compositions all over them. Some of them are just upright sticks. But had I not just had my chest cracked open, I'd be down on my belly trying to compose that. But I'm thinking I'm probably still going to get down there, and I'm thinking I need to shoot this at around 100 millimeters, so I need to get back from it so that I can compress the scene, as it were. Yeah, I'm going to get my stuff out. Give me a second here. Let me get my stuff out and I'll show you what I got. So I'm pretty glad that I got down here and did this, and the getting up and the getting down was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So this image is what I envisioned initially. It was just this horizontal, straight on, totally expected shot of the moss and the rock and the roots. But I always try to shoot the seconds, So after you get the shot you've got in your head, to fart around and play with your composition and see what else you come up with. Because in my experience, more often than not, my second shot, the second image, the second idea, is the one that comes out better. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. So again, this is the initial image right there, and I'll just go ahead and throw the composition here up in the camera, show you what we got. Now, it's this little rock here is like the star of the show, and you got the supporting cast of this tree, and even these trees here in the back, that's another strong element that I think gives this balance that wasn't there before. And I was initially thinking, I'm going to shoot this, with a long lens and compress the scene. This, we're at 35 millimeters here and f4. And I dig this so much more than the initial shot. So always play after you've got your first shot. I don't know, what do you think? Is this my one for the month? Is this my portfolio shot? I don't know if it's portfolio shot, but I'm happy with it. I'm super happy. I wasn't expecting to take a photograph at all today, and I got it. All right, let's move on. So I definitely have to eat my words regarding this particular woodland. Now that we're into summer and everything's greened up, there's a lot more interest. There's a lot more plant life of varying species and interest. So I did find a lot of shots that are going to necessitate that I come back, because I'm just not up for taking them. One, they have qualities that require light, which there isn't any down here at the moment, or some spots that could use some fog, which we very rarely get. But the rest of them were just down here in the creek, and I didn't bring my muck boots. I left those up in the car. So we're definitely coming back to this. I'll probably come back this weekend, but yeah, definitely have to reassess my claims of this being a boring, mundane nature preserve. Yeah. So the rain's really coming down now, so I think I'm gonna call it. Yeah, we're not in the woods anymore, being protected by the canopy. But I just wanted to reiterate what I was saying about Ansel Adams and how he would have been a terrible YouTuber. He probably would have been an awesome YouTuber, telling us the things that we need to hear rather than the things we want to hear. But don't let social media have you thinking you need to produce banger after banger after banger, day in, day out. I've got one photograph today, one that I like, which is 100% more than I set out to create. And that's my one for the month. I just got to make 11 more in the next 12 months. That's all I got to do. So anyway, if you reach the end of my rambling here, I appreciate you sticking around, and we'll talk to you real soon.